Oh, today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of East Meets West. Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to you with a Valkyries edition, Golden State Valkyries edition. We're going to play around with some thoughts and ideas. You know, we are in the middle of free agency and all of the moves going on. And we're going to, pick around with what's left. So, follow me, your boy, Opinionated MJ. Follow Khan. You see the names at the bottom. Make sure you like and subscribe, share. And Khan, so how you feeling about your Valkyries? I mean, it hasn't been too many like headlines with their name in it, but like you mentioned Monique Billings, and then that's about it so far.
That's the episode, ladies and gentlemen. No, the last WNBA, or I guess the Valkyries free agency preview that we did about a week and a half ago. And thank you everybody for tuning in. At the top of the episode, you opened up. You asked the question, "What do the Valkyries need? What do the Golden State Valkyries need?"
Right.
And do you remember what the answer was?
Everything.
That's right. Now let's ask that question again. What do the Golden State Valkyries need?
Everything. Yeah.
They still need everything. So it would be easy to be discouraged. But I guess if we really dive into it, I think there's still reason for optimism, right? But let's first kind of recap what we do know. So obviously we're recording now on February 2nd. So players are now officially putting pen to paper for their new deals. Technically, MJ, you and I were right about a lot of things. This is not us victory lapping or anything. I'm just saying, right? We did predict that if one starter of the Connecticut Sun left, it would have a domino effect, and they would likely all be on the move, if not most of them. And it turns out they're all gone.
Yeah,
they're all gone. Now, did the Valkyries capitalize on that? No, they did not.
Right.
No, they did not. Unfortunately, what should have been an advantage for the Valkyries has kind of been negated this specific year because of the impending new CBA being implemented, and with a new, the higher salary cap. So what I'm trying to say is that the Valkyries should have had, at the very least, a financial advantage. But with all these star players preferring to take one-year deals as opposed to guaranteeing themselves multi-year deals with guaranteed money, if they're only taking one-year deals, then I understand, right? The preference for, the Kelsey Plums, the Satu Sabalis, right? The Alyssa Thomases, Dejanay Carrington, right? Yeah. If the money is now equal, they prefer to go either to a place they want to go to, for whatever reason, personal reasons, or they want to go to a competitive team. And obviously, for a team that right now only boasts Kate Martin, officially under contract, it's a little difficult to persuade, And make no mistake, right? Kate Martin, we love that she's going to be in the Bay. I love the Martinis are following her, right, to the Bay Area. So, but yeah, I mean, this is now a situation, as Kendra Andrews reported a couple days ago, the Valkyries actually did inquire with Kelsey Plum. I can't remember who else. Was it Satu, I think? They did actually, approach him and have discussions about the possibility of the same thing, trying to do execute a sign-in trade to bring him to the Bay Area. But as we know, Kelsey Plum is now in Los Angeles. Satu is in Phoenix, as well as Alyssa Thomas, and we can go down the line. So all the top star free agents, most of whom were cored, are not coming to the Bay. And several of the top unrestricted free agents are also not coming to the Bay.
Yeah.
So I know I said at the top of the episode there is still reason to be optimistic. This is all sounding very, pessimistic. But
I mean,
okay,
it's still some
inject
names.
The optimism now.
It's still some names, and then I personally think after what we've seen with them not really having any splash like that, I'm starting to believe that they want to do something different. And might I say,
Yes.
they might want to kind of be the mixture of an American national team and an international team. They want that type of flavor. They want that type of product on the floor. You know what I mean? So they are, I feel like, looking at specific players. That's why they haven't just went after any of the other free agents, because they got the bread. Like you mentioned earlier before we started, they got about 1.1 million to play around with. And it's like, well, if you got the money, you know what I mean? You could like really just pay up. You could give somebody a max and they'll be like, oh, you're gonna pay me that much to go play at a new arena, to go play in Golden State in the Bay? And yeah, they would sign up for that. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? I don't think it's a lot of people that would turn it down. As far as the trades like Satu and whatnot, like, if you're not giving up something that they want, then they're not gonna send it your way. But I think there are still role players available, and they could throw some one outs out there. You know what I mean? Throw some 1 years. So the CBA will get ready to do its thing, and then they'll still have basically a clean slate and just let the team be what it is, because it's still not a bad team. You know what I mean?
I
Sorry,
mean,
I'm still sad about Maria Conde, but it's not a
yes.
bad team. Like
Yeah.
and then seeing what Kate Martin's doing. So if everyone else that's on the roster is just getting better, and we're just not seeing them behind the scenes, or because I haven't tapped in too much overseas. I watched Fenerbahce the other day, or like last week sometime, but I haven't really been tuning in that much. And I do know that, hell, like they should be. I'm sure they're playing somewhere. It's a lot of them playing right now that
Yeah.
if it's not showing up on Twitter or something, if I'm not on Twitter, then I'm not really in the know about it. But when I am on and I'm like, oh, she playing today, oh, and then I'll try to catch up with few little bits and pieces of whatever highlights they put out there. But I'm sure majority of their roster is playing. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and we see Kate Martin right now too. So, um, I'm thinking that this team could come in as constructed, honestly, and you just may need role players, and then to let the players that you have just have everything just put off onto them, and let them
Real
all
quick,
have a Maddie Segrist, Emily Inkster year. You know what I mean? Where they
when
go
you
from
say this Valkyries team can be competitive as currently constructed, are you suggesting then that they're bringing in uh, their expansion draft picks, like the players that
yeah,
they?
I
Okay.
believe so. I
Okay.
believe so, because there
Well, okay.
hasn't
To
been
start then,
any other movement right now. Yeah, but I
so
mean,
far,
that doesn't mean all of them though. You know what I mean?
right. So we know we
Yeah.
got Kate Martin, and
Mm-hmm.
we know Monique Billings
Mm-hmm.
is signing. It's to be determined, like the nature, like the contractual numbers
Right.
on her new deal, but she is. How do you see Monique Billings fit? Again, there is fit is
Um.
relative, or like
Yeah.
what do you believe is going to be her biggest contribution?
Man, when she's the focal point, because she's gonna be a focal point. She's like the big of the team right now. She's gonna bring points, boards, and efficiency. You know what I mean? Like, she's not a bad signing whatsoever. If anything, she probably fits their vision, because I think they are looking at it from floor product standpoint, IQ standpoint, and efficiency standpoint, especially what you've educated me with in regards to the coach, and then just looking at the players that they wanted to draft. You know what I mean, of what was available. So I just think that, man, they're gonna be good. It's just gonna be some players stepping into roles that we didn't think could. Step into those roles, because they were damn near one of the last ones on the bench. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
now we're gonna get to see them get big minutes, and like I said, have like a Maddie Segrist, Emily Inkster type of year this year, where stuff gets put onto their shoulders, more responsibility, and without it having to be an injury because of it. You know what I mean? So I think we gonna get surprised, and they may be able to like be a top 16. I think, just depending on what
what?
what what pieces they put around it. I mean, I won't sleep, because
Well,
who
I mean,
it's
I'm not gonna put a number on their seating or how many
yeah,
wins until I actually see people officially, right?
sign.
Like right now, if you go on the Valkyries website, they have like the pictures of 2 players, right? Because
Yeah.
right, they can only put officially the ones that have an actual contract. Monique Billings, I agree with you. She can get buckets. I
Yeah.
think every destination she's been on, every team she's been on,
It-
even
it-
currently overseas, that's what she does.
Timmy isn't. signed? She
Not
isn't
officially.
inked.
She
Oh
is. We
wow.
have her restricted free agent rights. She has not
Okay.
actually officially signed. That's why I have held off on like really talking about him. I'm assuming, especially now that we've seen, say, like, the Fever, the other teams that are considered contenders, now that they've kind of began to use their cap space,
Yeah.
I feel like she will match whatever she gets. I mean, I don't think anyone can outspend the Valkyries. Well, no, literally no one can outspend the Valkyries. But for Monique Billings, again, if for all our listeners, if you haven't, go back a couple episodes when we did a recap of the expansion draft. But the Valkyries, if you really look at it, the players they drafted, it was very forward heavy.
Yeah.
Maria Conde, Cecilia Zandalicini,
Hmm.
Monique
Kayla
Billings,
Thornton.
Kayla Thornton,
Yep.
Stephanie Talbot, you
Yep.
know. So Monique, I mean, again, everyone likes to like hold on to the quote that Natalie Nakase gave, that she intends for this team to be kind of like a run and gun, a pace and space team, jack up
Hmm.
some threes.
Right.
Monique Billings does not do that. She's
No.
primarily an inside scorer.
And you
Um,
need that clean up.
well,
Clean up.
no. I'm saying, no, absolutely. Which then would stand to reason that we do in general. We need guards, but we
That
also
run.
need some like 3-point shooting guards.
Okay.
So on that note, why don't we actually
Go
why don't
from
you
there. That's a good
go from
point.
there? Yeah. Who do you think then from the remaining free agents? Who do you think are some nice moves, either
Mm,
obvious or under the radar? I have a couple, uh,
I'm
that
going
come to
through the
mind.
names. If at all possible, Tiffany Hayes would be amazing, but I don't
Dude,
know that she leaves the Aces, bro. I don't know that she does
okay.
that.
So at Unrivaled, because you know her kind of like waffling. I love her. I love her humor.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think she's hilarious, right? Like
She
she's like
is.
a troll and she knows it, you know. But like she kind of
Yeah.
keeps waffling about the idea of retiring, and which is totally understandable. Had a
She not.
long and very accomplished career. But now she's saying that, like she said originally, at the end of the last season, WNBA season, that if she were to return, it would be with the Valkyries. Now, the other day at Unrivaled, when they interviewed her, she said she's opening to returning, and she's not only considering. Oh, I'm not sorry, the Valkyries, the Aces. She's
Oh, you
not
see my
only. Yeah,
face. I'm like,
yeah, my bad.
what?
I'm sorry. Yeah, she said she would only come back to play with the Aces, but now she's saying she's actually open to signing with other teams. Um,
Hmm.
you know, Obviously being on the same Unrivaled team with Kate Martin, a lot of people, myself included, ideas start percolating.
Hmm.
That is literally Kate Martin's vet. You
Yeah.
know, you see the rapport they had both with Las Vegas and with the Laces. I'm with you. I'm with you. I mean,
Huh. I didn't
we
think
talk
about it
about,
like that. They
yeah,
play
you
for the
talk about the
Aces.
levels of effect,
Yeah.
impact that she could have. It's not just on court, but in terms of inevitably we're bringing in most likely young players. What
Yeah.
better way than to have someone like, as accomplished as Tiffany Hayes, to be able
Yep.
to be an on-court mentor.
Exactly.
Um,
In a good vet, just give her that 1 year deal, like I said earlier. Like just throw her 1 year. She think about retiring anyway. New CBA coming up. If she wanted to play again, she'll open herself up to have the ability to make more money, or she could just fly off into the sunset.
yeah,
But that'd be a
yeah.
great
So
pickup for you
I
guys,
think
for real.
so. And again, right, the infrastructure, Natalie Nakase, Kate Martin, can you convince her to come? Yeah, I feel like it's a low risk, high reward kind of situation. Again, relative to what the Valkyries want to accomplish in year one, which is
Yeah.
again, establishing a culture, develop the players that you do believe you'll have a long term relationship with. So we'll see. I don't know if it matches. I'll throw out one. I've thrown it out before, but now that like the bigger names have kind of come off the free agency board, as you said, leave no stone unturned. Maybe it's time to start looking overseas. Li
Yeah.
Meng.
Ooh.
I
I
I think.
haven't heard about her in a while. Doesn't she
Oh,
play
I do.
she plays for Wash? No. Lee, where's Lee Ming? I forgot where she last where I last seen her roster. I want to
Oh,
say
in the WNBA, yeah, Washington.
Washington. Yeah, I thought so. Man, she's good actually.
Yeah.
especially like the stuff that I seen from her that wasn't associated with just Washington, like overseas, like doing podcasts for the last few years, and having a moment where I had to actually like look her up and check on her and like do research. Like, yeah, that's what I think this team needs. They need fresh blood. They don't need to. Like, I mean, I was gonna throw a name out there, but I wouldn't mind it being like a team full of like players that have yet to get the opportunity to live up to, oh, you have to play 28 minutes, you got to play 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see it. I want to see
That's what
those
I'm
players in
saying.
that position. Yeah.
Yeah. Like in this case, because I understand people question, like, anytime a player is coming from overseas, does your game translate to the WNBA,
Right.
especially coming from the WCBA? But in Li Meng's short tenure in the WNBA, in my opinion, it was a successful stint.
Yeah.
Like, she played limited minutes. I'd have to look it up. But I mean, like, she was very consistent and fairly impactful. She
Hmm.
played 34 games. She averaged just under 16 minutes. But I mean, like, you know, good 3-point shooter, high, again,
Hmm.
low usage, but still high assist to turnover ratio. I mean, everything you want. She's still
Yep.
quick, quick as
Exactly.
F, you know.
Right. So,
um,
I mean, she's quick. She's a 3-point shooter. She can pass.
yeah,
And she runs the floor. So that's what you said. That's the vision for the Valkyries.
yeah,
So I think they should go after players and that's a perfect choice. I think. I
yeah.
believe. I
And
like
I mean,
that.
again, for whatever you believe, how things translate, the
Mhm.
current WCBA Finals MVP, what is it, like the player of the tournament for was it the FIBA Asia Cup, like the Asia
Yeah.
qualifiers. So what I'm saying is she's putting in work,
Right.
I feel like the skills are translatable. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, I feel that's got to be someone that they at least make a call, make a
Right.
call. So
Hey, I mean that goes in line with exactly what I was saying too. Before you put the pieces together, like just keep going overseas, try to make this team be basically they have to play a certain way. You're looking for IQ, you're looking for a style, and you're looking for types. You know what I mean? And then go from there. Let everything else fit in, and that's the perfect start. You said they need shooters. Boom, that's one.
that's right.
Of course, Tiffany Hayes would be decent.
Oh,
Um,
and real quick, just this morning I saw like fans. I just it showed up on my timeline, but some Valkyrie fan was like, "What's up? Like, how come Julie Vanloo is she not going to sign with the Valkyries? What's up?" And then she kind of commented, like, replied, like, "Oh no, it's going to happen. It's just she just hasn't actually signed a contract." So
right.
to be fair, right? I mean, again, until she officially puts pen to paper, right? We won't get ahead of ourselves, but I think she does envision being a part of this inaugural Valkyries team. So again, even if Julie Von Lowe signs, I'd still want another
Yeah.
point guard, combo
Yeah.
guard. I feel like a Li Meng could work.
Definitely.
Um, what are your thoughts about Grace Berger?
Ooh, man, you know I love Grace Berger. Actually,
So she just recently got waived this morning.
did
In
she
order for Indiana to
take
complete
Duana?
the trade, I think with what
Oh, okay.
with Dallas, right?
Yeah.
No, Phoenix.
No,
In order to
yeah.
complete their trade with Phoenix, they needed to open up a
For
roster spot,
Sophie.
so they waived her
Yeah.
outright.
Hmm. I love Grace Berger. I think she would be perfect. Like she
Explain
got to
how do you
actually
envision
because
her
she's
contribution, her
a
role?
lot of that as well. Like I watched a lot of her in college, so I still got like a lot of her college game
Yeah,
in my head because I liked her then. Like when we had did a show and we had to look up just like a lot of the players that were incoming, and I'm like, Grace Berger is nice. You know what I mean? Like I wanted her to be lunged into that role alongside Caitlin Clark. Actually, like let Caitlin kind of run the two since she's taller and then let Grace push the one. That way you have two ball handlers on the floor. That way it's not just Caitlin, but they figured it out the way that they did. And still, she's good, bro. Like I won't say she's inefficient because I think she's decent. She can make threes. And she actually defends a little decent too. So and she fits the bill. Like you need runners, you need players that can help stretch the floor. She might not be the greatest. I don't really recall her being the greatest at 3-point shooting, but she can get to the cup. That's for sure. And I like her. She can control the offense too as well. So if you need even another playmaker, like that's another route to go.
I mean, again, I'm with you. I love the assist to turnover ratio. Again,
Hmm.
for someone who is on ball a lot, that does mean a lot to me. Like if you're a center and
Yeah.
you have a poor assist to turnover ratio, what do I care, right? Like you're either
Right.
finishing or you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not like you. But I mean, as for her shooting, her mechanics look good.
Yes.
If I'm defending her, like I don't believe there's a big enough sample size to say she's not a good shooter,
Right. Right.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, like, because catch and shoot wasn't even really primarily her role when she did have consistent minutes, right? I mean, she
Right.
is a backup ball handler,
Yeah.
facilitator.
Yeah.
So I'm with you there. Yeah, it'd be interesting too, because they waived her, and I believe that's still technically on her rookie deal. That's pennies on the dollar.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Valkyries, all you gotta do is just put a waiver claim in. That's
Yeah.
it. And you absorb her contract.
Right.
Why
Yeah.
not, right?
I would do that. I would do that.
Yeah. And again,
Man.
underrated defender. I'm not saying a great defender, not all defensive
Yeah.
team, but a
No.
great positional
But she's
defender.
yeah, she's good. She moves well on defense. You know what I mean? She moves her feet
Yeah.
well and whatnot. So you know it's not gonna be like Kalia Copper or Enrique beaming past her. You know what I mean? Just so easily all the time like that. Like she could defend. So yeah. What other, any other names? Okay, well let me throw one out there. And she
Okay, you
isn't
go.
the she
Yeah, I
isn't
have a couple.
the super youngest, but we've seen enough of her at least last season, like taking the next step. But what do you think about Chennedy Carter? Even if just for a
This
year.
so okay. Um, I'll openly admit to our audience, like I consume a lot of basketball. And I'm glad I think Michael, you would normally agree that like I can break down film
Yeah.
fairly well. Okay. But because of that, I'm not always aware of what's going on off court. Like sometimes I just don't even pay attention. So, what is it about Chennedy Carter that seemingly teams don't want to continue working with her? I've seen these tidbits about like character concerns, but what is it then? What
I I think that because that's the only thing that I was gonna say. Like I guess it's just something that they don't like about her, maybe in a lot in the like the locker room or something like that. Like I don't know, but then it's like when you see her with her teammates, it's a different story. You know what I mean? So is it something with the organizations or the coaching staffs that don't like her, or maybe she carries herself or thinks of herself a certain type of way and they don't like that or something like that? Like, but I mean, I would give it a shot. I would give it a shot.
I mean, in terms of just like trying to pluck talent, you know,
Yeah.
there's no denying her talent.
No.
If I had to like just on terms of skill alone, my one critique then is that she is admittedly not a particularly good 3-point shooter. You know,
Right.
she kind of even leans into the joke that like her entire career is layups. But still,
Right.
right, your ability to generate those looks, at the rim, that is a talent.
Yeah.
Um I do consume WCBA. I am watching her putting up 40, 50 points routinely,
Yeah.
you
Like,
know?
yeah. I
I
see the
also think it's
graphics. I haven't
really
seen it.
funny that she's getting like the sportsmanship award over there. you know. Are you aware of that? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just threw my hands up. Like, so what is it that is what's going on with Chicago that you know?
But it wasn't just Chicago, right? Wasn't it
No,
also
it wasn't.
LA?
Yeah, it was.
Right? That's a team that just gave up the number 2 overall pick that they've been starving for guard help, and they just let her walk also.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that's why like my concern, yes, is because I don't have that information. I thought maybe you or your dub uh
the
you
team.
know yeah, your dub team, can shine some light on that, or shed some light on that, because I find it really interesting that someone as talented and productive, consistently productive as her,
Yeah. Yeah.
is kind
especially
of
this past season.
like teams are okay moving on from her, and unfortunately that when you leave that open to interpretation, it's like, okay, is it then a you problem? Is it a character issue? Because my concern is for a team as young as the Valkyries that are trying to establish a culture,
Yeah.
like,
Oh well, then you wouldn't want to go in that direction. No,
exactly.
because
But that's what I'm
you don't
saying.
want to
Like,
risk it, especially not the inaugural season.
but that's why, like in general, right? Like you would never want someone to just dismiss you off of hearsay without ever having like interacted with you.
Right.
Right. I'm trying to give her that same grace. It's just I don't know enough about what's going on as to why teams, why has she not already, agreed to a contract with someone? Like, come on. No offense to like say like Shatari Walker Kimbrough or, all these other, but if they're signing before her,
Yeah.
like what? So I'm with you.
That's
I'm
true.
with you.
Especially she can kind of put it up more than Shatori, I think, at this point. So, but
What do you? I have a couple more names. We don't have to go with like
I
all
only
the.
have one more that I
Okay.
think would fit. There's no point in mentioning all the rest because it's like it's a bunch of bigs, a bunch of forwards, and it's not fit based on especially what direction that I think that they're trying to go in and what you've been saying, like what you've been speaking to. So I got one more.
What do you think about?
You're probably about to say her name.
No, probably not. Laeticia Amihere.
I might have too. Laeticia, it would be the same thing, like because she
Not a
plays the
3-point
forward.
shooter.
She plays the forward spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be the same thing that they already have. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to, just for insurance or to have an extra backup or something like that.
Do
But I
you
mean,
believe she has the
I think they
ability to
need
be what they thought she
guards.
could be coming out of the draft? Can she be that switchable defender?
I need to
Because
see a bigger sample size and her have a
that's the
bigger
thing.
role. Like, and that's what this team is. So I mean, if they see that in her, if they see that potential in her, then I would
So
take
do
a
you
shot.
believe that? Do you think so? Because I think, right, again, like you said, no stone unturned. It could be an opportunity to like see if they can rejuvenate, like kind of like, invest in some reclamation projects.
Right.
When the league seems to kind of be turning their backs on them, maybe, hey, right, like we can unlock what they initially saw in them, because I'm gonna group her and Zia Cooke together.
Oh, I forgot Zaya's free.
Zia Cooke, yeah.
They need to sign Zia Cooke. Hell, I might be
How do
saying
you
her
think?
name
Okay,
wrong,
I
but I
would
think
go
it's Zia.
if I had to sign one of them, I'd probably go with Zia Cooke.
Yeah, because she's
Laeticia.
new. She's fresh. Like
What
she's
do
young.
you believe she can become?
I think she can
Same thing.
become a really good point guard. She just has to have the like true opportunity to do so. You know what I mean? Because LA didn't give her opportunities like that last year. And it was a lot of people complaining about it, especially after they drafted her. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you not playing her? So, yeah, I would give her a shot. I love her. I loved her college game for sure. The games that I did see, yes, she's nice.
I mean, a below average 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I mean,
At best, I'm being conservative, right? It's a sub 30
yeah,
percentage, right?
yeah,
For her first 2 years in the league. But I don't know. You're talking to me. I'm the type of guy who
right,
doesn't believe things are always dependent on 3-point shooting,
right.
right? To me, she is a power guard.
And they probably need that. That
That's what I'm
fits.
saying, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's all bully ball, but no, she
right.
like she can power her way into the lane.
Yeah.
Through a combination, not just sheer strength, cadence, change of direction.
Right.
I don't think she's got enough reps to be able to show whether she can or cannot do that in the league.
Exactly.
I would want to see her get that opportunity because then you unlock something pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
so,
do.
Okay, you're with Zia over Laeticia,
on top of what she already can do. And I'll throw my last name out there before you keep going. But I was just gonna say Sami Whitcomb. Like she can shoot, you know what I mean, and might need to be in another place to get rejuvenated as well. You know what I mean? So she can, because she was good 2 seasons ago, but last season not so much, not the same as prior. But I think she still has it. I mean, shooters don't really lose the shot. You know what I mean? It just becomes more efficient. You pick your spots
Do you
better.
believe she is? I'm not saying they're the same type of player. I'm just talking in regards to their shooting. Do you
Yeah.
believe she is a more Sami Whitcomb? That is. Do you believe she's a more consistent shooter than say like a Kia Nurse?
No. Right now, no. Or if I compare them last
Dude,
season, no.
dude.
Kia's crazy, but Sammy the year before that, if I just say, if I just think about her entire time, then I mean, yeah. But
Okay.
I like Kia was on a heater last season. She was like flamethrowing. Like everything you threw her, she was just making. It's like Kia Nurse for three. At least in the
Okay.
games I
So
watched,
like,
she might have had a horrible percentage, but in the games I watched of the Sparks, Kia Nurse for three, Kia Nurse for three, and she was just making them all. And I'm like, what?
so if you take the first 7 games of the season and
Hmm.
the last 8 games of the season, Kia Nurse was like shooting around like I believe 45, 46% from three,
Yes,
right?
she was making everything.
On like six or 7 attempts per game. And then
Hmm.
the exact middle of the season, it was like sub 30%.
Oh wow, okay.
That's why I'm
It
saying.
might
That's
have,
why I asked you. Because the perception of like, oh, right, Kia
yeah.
Nurse, right, 3-point shooter, but it's like a very high variance.
And that
you
might have
know?
had to do with the instability on for both of them, really, with both rosters, because
Yeah.
LA was going in and out of who's gonna run this and run that. De'Erica Hamby like stepped all the way up. She went into another just sphere. They lost Cameron Brink early, so maybe it was some things on the floor that needed to be reestablished, and that's why the end of the year Kia Nurse reemerged. It might have been some adjustments and coaching like decisions that might have had an effect on that. And I think Sami Whitcomb the same, like with Skylar Diggins Smith coming to the team, and then Jules trying to figure out her way. NECA's coming to the team. You have more prominent mouths to feed, and Sammy might have just, she pretty much got the short end of it. Like it probably put her out of sync, out of rhythm. You know what I mean? Compared to what she was when it was just her, Jewel, and Ezzy. You know what I mean? So because she was like basically she was the third option here, like her, Jewel, and Ezzy. So yeah, damn near.
Yeah.
It definitely not further than fourth, but then you got a big four almost over there if you consider Ezzy a part of that, and then you got your players getting shoved down to the bench because NECA and Skylar are coming over, and yeah, she lost minutes for that, so that might have affected her play as well too. But I like both ideas honestly, either or. But I think Kia Nurse just signed with somebody.
No. She did. She did.
Oh, okay.
But I was using her as a frame of comparison,
Okay.
frame of reference because, right, like Kia Nurse is being signed with the reputation of being a shooter, but she's like a very high variance. When
Right.
when you really do, you dig into the numbers. So I was like, well, then how would you compare Sammy to Kia? Because right, if you're saying
Yeah.
she's even more high variance, then I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm with you. I guess before we wrap up, just a couple of ideas too that some of our followers have thrown out. So I guess we can quickly talk about it. What do you think about the idea of trading for Natasha Cloud now that she's
Yeah.
kind of in like purgatory, which is the Connecticut Sun?
Yeah. Yeah, because she runs, she can control the offense. She's not the best 3-point shooter, but in rhythm, like when she gets a rhythm out there on the floor, she makes them. You know what I mean? Uh yeah, I love Natasha Cloud, and she's a leader as well. You know what I mean? She's a leader. So
I
I'm
don't
with
want to
that.
say that they that Phoenix did her dirty, but it kind of sucked that like she
But
signed
Phoenix did her dirty.
okay. I mean, she was like the one recruiting everyone.
Yeah, they did her dirty.
um, if it can be done
Mm,
without trading away any first round picks, I mean,
mm,
like none, right? Kind of like what I said, about some like in the previous WNBA preview episode. If
yeah,
it can be done with like a package of second round picks and third round picks, take
yeah.
as many as you want. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Like here, you can have it.
But no, because now, even though it's been a joke, it's been like a true joke.
Yeah,
Everything is moving towards tank for Pitt, tank for Betts, tank for
Yeah.
Juju, tank for
Yes.
Hannah,
Yeah.
etc., etc., etc.
And that's another
You
reason
know,
why I think they should let this team just almost be
exactly.
what it is right now, and just plug in a couple pieces here and there, just to
That's what I'm saying.
make sure the fans know somebody on the team. You know what I mean?
Right. That's why I like the idea of, you know what, maybe sign a couple of like reclamation projects. They're going to
Yeah.
come cheap. Right. And then if it works out, you still have, right, the restricted free agency rights and the ability, like the cap flexibility to then sign them what they're deserving of. Right.
Right.
Like they can't just be poached from like
Right.
contenders, you know, especially given that, right, they kind of rehab their careers with us. So yeah. Natasha Cloud, and then I mean, at this point, I don't see an Emma Meesseman or an Elena Delle.
Ladon, that's who I was gonna say at the end of the episode. Like, please, EDD, come to the Valkyries.
I
All
mean,
right,
do
y'all.
you what would be your selling point then at this point?
My selling point will be you come into this new team. You are the 1 or 2 year, however long, if it's EDD, you're the face of it for now, because people know who she is. She's a champion. Uh, she's a great player. You know what I mean? Like, basically going to go down as one of the greatest. And she got game, bro. Like, so yeah, why not come over here? And then that gives them another dynamic. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just run and gun, they will have EDD who can help make it even more methodical. You know what I mean? And they can do plays where they're running around her, and she's, they can orbit around her, give her the ball, let her do her thing. Like, I'm down for that. For EDD, yeah. And then Emma Meesseman, bro, what? She going crazy right now. I have seen some of her highlights. Like, her name just comes up. Maybe because I say it. We've been saying it like once a week, and maybe my phone is listening. Like, I am a Meesseman. Here. Let me show this in the algorithm. But she's been playing really well, bro.
Oh,
And yeah,
I mean,
she should come back to the league.
the thing is, Elena Delle, I think she's done. Like, I think she's comfortable calling it
Yeah,
a career. The thing is, if she came back, I think she wants to come back, right? Like at this point, like I can't imagine you just want to play for like an expansion team. I think she wants like, hey, maybe one more shot at the ring.
well,
Emma
she probably go to the
Meesseman,
Aces then.
yeah, Emma Meesseman, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure she also wants to come back for a championship
Yeah,
run, but I feel like given that she has more years left to play, you could
yeah.
maybe convince her to. So, yeah,
And I mean, it's a lot of players I want to see that would, Emma Meesseman would take the minutes from. That's
yeah.
already on hypothetically, the drafted players anyway. But I mean, if you get her, man, I'm not complaining. Then one of them
Yeah.
could get, so I don't like the waiving process, or letting players not make rosters, but hey, it is what it is.
Oh,
It's Emma Meesseman, or like somebody got to go.
one. Let's make this our last little like subject. Actually, this was a question from one of our followers or one of our listeners.
Okay.
They asked, okay, so technically, right, we drafted Kayla Thornton from the Liberty in
Keep
the
her.
expansion draft. We drafted Stephanie Talbot from the Sparks. Now, both of them had previously signed extensions with their former teams, right? But for those who aren't aware, right, in order for those extensions to actually incur a cap hit on the Valkyries pay like cap sheet, they have to make the opening day roster. So
Okay.
basically, like if they're waived prior to opening day, that
Yeah.
contract is just they're waived
It's gone.
and there's no dead money,
Right.
right? Which then leads to the possibility that if they're going to be waived anyway, they could be traded before they're waived. You see what I'm saying? The
Right.
Valkyries could potentially get like, whatever, a future second round pick or third round pick.
Right.
If you had to keep one, who would you keep?
And this is Steph and who?
Kayla Thornton.
Kayla. I'm Kayla all day. I'm
Yeah.
going Kayla. Yeah, because I don't know. And that's me being biased, because my team used to be the Shot, then they turned to Tulsa, then they turned to Dallas. So I've been a Wings fan. And have had a very long love-hate relationship with them. But her time there, I recognize what I seen before she went to New York, and she's great, man. Like she's a hustler. She plays defense. She's had an improved shot. She can get inside and like really rough up with, you know what I mean, the opposition. And I just love her, bro. Like she comes in handy when you least expect it. Like something happens and then boom, here she comes and she drops 20 points and you know what I mean, like 6 rebounds, 7 rebounds, and it's like, damn, Kayla Thornton had that. Like, yeah, she did. She's really good. She's sneaky good, but it's like I kind of like the role that she ended up in New York, where she's she's like a Swiss Army knife, if you will. Like and let her come off the bench, and that makes it even better. She could be sixth or seventh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind starting her either if that's knock on wood, stuff happen to people. But yeah, she's capable of starting right.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she's capable of starting, and I
I
I
mean,
love Kayla Thornton, so I'm probably biased, but yeah,
no, I think that's a fair assessment. I think, but for all those reasons as to
yeah,
why she would have the inside track to making the Valkyries roster,
yeah.
those are the same reasons why I think
Why
she'd
she would
garner
get traded,
more trade interest. More, well, at least
right?
I think more teams will be calling in on Kayla Thornton than Stephanie
Yeah,
Talbot. No offense to Steph, but it's
yeah.
like you said, right? She is someone you could slot in seamlessly, I think, to a championship,
Roster,
roster, or like
right,
a win now roster.
right. Like
So
think of her going to like the Aces,
yeah,
and then she plays behind Aja. Like really,
or
Aja's
whatever, bro.
already physical, and then you let Kayla come in behind her. You're gonna be tired all night. That position is gonna be pooped.
Yep. So we'll see. All right. Well, I mean, like I said, I think right there is still a lot. There's still a lot of options, right?
Yeah,
Just because like the household names are off the board doesn't mean that there
that
isn't
stuff.
talent to be added.
Yeah, and
No,
then
I mean I get it, right? It's
I'm sure we're
exciting.
gonna see a deal soon here for them.
Yeah.
Might be like you said, a trade. Might be somebody want like a Kayla Thornton or a Stephanie Talbot, like like you mentioned. So
Yeah.
we'll see, because there's a lot of restructuring going on. Like it,
Yeah.
I don't know how much more we've got to go through, and what more trades, crazy trades. It's just like, what is this crazy trade week since last Sunday?
I mean, again, we can recap the other
for
teams and
all
what they've
black
done.
basketball.
Yeah, we can recap what the other teams have done, but the fact that Minnesota and New York have been seemingly kind of quiet. Like
Hmm.
they still got some moves to make,
Yeah.
I mean, again, they're already great
Well,
rosters.
Minnesota
That's why.
made
But
one.
yeah,
Minnesota
Miriam
signed.
Median.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
again. See, that's a good team right there. No stone
yeah.
unturned. Look at that, dude. You know.
And if I had to throw a name out there, since Minnesota did that, if y'all could get Alana Smith, that would go
Is,
crazy too.
is she an unrestricted free agent? I don't even
No,
remember.
I don't think so. She's
I
not.
kind of
She's not on
assume
that
she's
list.
already, like
She's
there.
not. She didn't. She didn't make the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking
Um.
about it because
But hey,
yeah,
like I
yeah,
said, I mean, I think it's still exciting. I'm not discouraged one bit. Like I'm really excited to see where this team again. Like I want to see the creativity,
right.
in building a great team. This is the life of an expansion team, and if you, Michael, are lucky, we can have this discussion for when the Detroit Shock come back. Because I saw
I
that
think that's.
article about Tom Gores. Good for Tom Gores,
I
man.
think
Give
it's
the
gonna
people
happen.
what
Did
they
you see
want,
all
man.
the other names that were on there?
Yeah, dude.
I think it's
Tennessee,
gonna. I think it's gonna happen. I think it's no. I'm
Tennessee
what Tennessee.
with
What?
the Summit is what they're calling themselves, right? With an
Oh,
ownership
okay.
group of Candace Parker and Peyton Manning.
Oh, for Tennessee, in Tennessee.
Yeah. They're just calling
Oh,
themselves
okay.
like the Tennessee. Yeah, and I
Wait,
think.
what were they on there for the shop? Candace?
Oh no, I'm saying no.
Oh,
Like they're putting in a bid. Candace Parker is part of an ownership group or a potential ownership group, putting in a bid for another WNBA team, right?
okay.
Another expansion team. I believe, right? Tom
Man.
Gores is in the process of trying to bring the Shock back, and I
Yeah,
think Philly. Josh Harris put in a bid
yeah.
to bring one to. So I think they are exciting times, man. I know, dude. Bring the Shock back, man.
I think we're getting a team. We are.
Yeah, dude.
It's like LCA is down there. Tigers or Comerica Park is right here. Ford Field is right there. It's like they're all right there lined up. It's all the theaters and attractions all next to it. Bars, restaurants.
And the airport is close.
Yeah, the airport. Yeah, that airport is close. The river is right there. Or the waterfront. Like it's not in Auburn Hills anymore, where if the Pistons aren't playing, then what's the likelihood of people going to games? Even though I used to go to the games, like my friend, my boy, yeah, he used to date a
You're
girl
diehard,
that
man.
her mother had her job gave her the keys to the suite, so we would just go to the suite, be able to eat whatever we wanted, and sit up there and watch a lot of boxing matches, basketball games. Like I was doing that, and then my then manager around that time where I was working at, she had season tickets, and if she didn't have somebody going, she'd be like, "You want to go today?" And we went to quite a few games. You know what I mean? Especially when we got off at the same time. Like, yeah, she would damn near schedule me some days for that. Like, oh, a shot coming. How we go?
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, please bring them back.
I like.
They're in Detroit now. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I think, when they're part of the fabric of the community, and they have a legacy there, the Detroit Shock, that is. So I hope you guys get one, or I hope they grant Detroit the next expansion team, so make it happen, Kathy,
Yeah. But let's not end on Detroit. Valkyries succeed. I'm saying it now. I'm predicting it now. Hold me to it.
9 wins.
9 wins.
Or fine, 10.
You want to get those picks. I know.
I want Lauren Betts. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Well, we'll see. If you guys got any ideas and got anything or any player in particular that y'all like, just let us know. Send us the comments. We'll respond to you. And thank y'all for your time. This has been another episode. Again, like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see y'all next time. Probably pretty soon with the way the WNBA climate and NBA climate is going right now. So yeah, y'all have a good one.
Take care.